Good morning, everyone. It's Robert from On My Turntable. Hope you're having a great Saturday morning. It's a coffee kind of morning, excuse me. Looks kind of sunny out there today. Haven't been out yet to see what it's like. I'll be taking the doggies out soon to get them some fresh air. Today I thought I'd talk about some successful bands that people love to hate. And there's plenty, I'm sure. Before I get started, please hit the like and subscribe button below. Thank you to all that have liked and subscribed so far. I greatly appreciate it. I want to continue to put great content out there to be informative, to help you guys understand and learn about these great bands and artists that I have in my collection. And again, thank you so much. So there's all kinds of music out there, all kinds of genres. People love certain types of genres for certain types of music. People hate the same. And that's cool, that's their opinion, that's their right to do so. Me, I prefer more 60s, 70s, 80s, classic rock, progressive rock. Not to say that I don't love newer bands, and I do, and different genres as well, heavy metal, bands like Tool, bands like Metallica, love those guys. Tool especially, they're just unique. I think they're the rock of heavy metal the Rush of heavy metal in my opinion. And I think it would have been cool at one point to have the two of those guys get together and do something unique and amazing. There's different genres that I do not like and not into at all, such as new country. I'm not a fan of new country, even though I do love and appreciate the older country. The twang, the guitar, the playing, the rawness of the music. New country to me just sounds like pop with a twang. But again, there's millions and millions of people that love new country, and that's cool. I love jazz. There's some people that are not a big fan of jazz. I'm not a fan of opera whatsoever, but I do like classical music. And at one point in my life, I did have a number of classical music albums. And it's a unique listen, and it's something that you truly have to be into to appreciate. But it's a wonderful genre, and there's millions of people that love that genre. In turn, there's people that do not like that genre whatsoever. I'm not saying that one style of music is better than the other by any means. Again, everyone has their own styles, their own likes and dislikes. If we were all the same, it'd be boring, wouldn't it? To me, bands like Chicago, their first 10 albums with the late great Terry Kath were amazing. After that, I could care less about Chicago. The whole Van Halen, Van Hagar era with between David Lee Roth and Sammy Hagar. I happen to have more albums with Sammy Hagar in it than I do with the David Lee Roth style. Not to say that I don't like either era, but there are two different camps on both sides. I am definitely not a Guns N' Roses fan. I hate Axl Rose, but I appreciate Slash and his guitar work and his talent. He's an amazing artist on his own, with other on side projects. Sorry, and but as a band, Axl Rose is just not my thing. Not a big hip hop. Hip hop, rap, I'm not a big fan at all. Again, thousands and millions that love it. So, and what's happened is that as my music style has grown, and I guess like wine, I've gotten older, and I appreciate the music more, and I understand it more. And that's the thing, that a lot of the music that I listen to has stood the test of time. And I don't know if music in this era is going to do that. I have a fear it's not, because it's not original, it's borrowed, it's auto-tuned, there's no original singers too much anymore. I mean, yes, they're still out there, but again, that's a whole show for another era. I'm here mainly to talk about what the critics say, and this is not my opinion, because some of these bands I do like and I do have in my collection, but this is mainly what people and the critics are saying about these particular bands. So we'll start off with number 10. Black Eyed Peas. Um, they were the second best group of all time for downloaded tracks. Their lyrics don't make sense with songs like My Hump and Boom Boom Pow. Um, Everyone has made up names in the band. Not that that has anything to do with their music. This is what the critics are saying. Um, Also, they cannot sing. All their music is auto-tuned, and they sound terrible. I remember I used to work at Future Shop, and we'd have live versions of different bands showing sound equipment and showing the quality of the television that we were promoting. And we had one of their live albums playing, one of their live concerts. It sounded terrible. They were just terrible. Number 9 on the list. Again, this is all critics, but I happen to love this band, and I just recently purchased 3 of their albums yesterday. U2. Their first few albums were fantastic, and those are the ones I picked up. I just picked up The Unforgettable Fire and More and Nocturne Baby. I've got Rattle and Hum. I've got all kinds of other albums in there. And Bono has been a huge supporter of over 40 charities. He's been knighted and nominated for 3 Nobel Peace Prizes. But the band itself, in their later albums, couldn't keep up with the popularity of and couldn't attract newer members. And I think what hurt them, and that's what the critics are saying as well, is when they automatically downloaded their album onto iPhones. And kind of a nail in the coffin. It was kind of pretentious for them to do so. Number 8 on the list, Dave Matthews Band. I used to be a big Dave Matthews lover way back when. It's definitely a unique listen because the songs tend to wander and roam. They're long songs. I think he's become more of a cult classic rather than trying to be a modern singer-songwriter. So he's got that core fan base, but in the end, they're just a great jam band. He's very talented, super talented. His lyrics are storytelling lyrics for sure, but they've got a core fan base that sticks with them. But anyone else really could care less. Creed, when they first came out, again I was a fan as well, but I haven't listened to Creed in years. In the 90s, they released 3 consecutive multi-platinum albums, and they've sold 55 million albums worldwide. So they're not any slouch by any means. They were also a Christian rock band, but they didn't live up to their Christian values. The critics said they were Nickelback without being Nickelback. They were full of controversy. Scott Stapp, the main lead singer, he had psychotic breakdowns. There was drug abuse, alcoholic abuse, and all their songs, according to the critics, sounded the same. The Christians hated them for that, and music critics didn't respect them whatsoever. So again, they had huge hits, but they fell by the wayside very quickly. This band I absolutely hate, and I didn't write much about it. Limp Bizkit, excuse me. Their rap style was popular back in the day, but they didn't fit in with any new music out there. So they eventually faded. Fred Durst, his voice is terrible. He's not a great performer. He kind of ruined the band. The band itself is great, very talented band, but he's not a very talented person whatsoever, and not my style of music in any means. So in that way, I think the critics were right on. Excuse me. Number 5, and I happen to love this band. I'm not sure why it's on this list. It's the band Coldplay. I was about to pick up some more of their albums today. I think they're a super talented band. They've sold 100 million records worldwide, so they're again no slouch. Um, Unfortunately, most of the popularity is overseas. Um, their music is generic, so the critics say, and repetitive, and they haven't really done anything different in their to increase their popularity. That they've stuck to the same formula. They've been safe. Um, they had a chance to, I guess, redeem themselves. They performed at a Super Bowl. To me, it looked amazing, like an amazing concert. But they didn't do anything different. They played the same tracks. They didn't come up with anything new to make themselves known or be out there. But to me, I think they're a fantastic band, and I'm not sure why they're on this list, but I had to add it as this type of thing that I'm doing. This next band should definitely be on this list. I know there's people that are, I love this band, and I know there's people that totally respect this band, think they're the best band in the world. But to me, I just can't stand them. It's Kiss. There's huge Kiss fans out there. I'm not a fan. I think to me they lack talent. They can't sing. Their stage presence and stage show is amazing. I haven't had the fortunate opportunity to see them in concert, but I know people have, and they put on an amazing show. But talent-wise, I mean, they're still touring. Paul Stanley can't sing anymore. Gene Simmons is he's arrogant, and he's just out to make money. He'll sell anything and anything to make money. They do have a die-hard fan base, and but that's about it. So again, I'm sorry for any Kiss fans out there, but I'm not a big fan. Where are we here? So that was number 4 on the list. Number 3 on the list, they've got Hootie and the Blowfish. Their album Crack for Your Mirror became hugely successful. They became the biggest thing in music at the time when it came out. The album went platinum 16 times, but unfortunately that was a downfall for them. They couldn't come up with anything better. They couldn't top that, and in the end their albums failed. Darius Rucker actually became a country music star. I did see him in concert, and on a rare occasion that I saw a country band with Rascal Flatts. That was another time, another era. But he did put on an amazing show. But again, Hootie the Blowfish just blew it out with their first album. It was kind of like Boston, who just, their first album was just amazing, and then after that it was kind of whatever. Number 2 on the list, Smash Mouth. Similar type of thing. The popularity of their song, thanks to the Shrek movie, became very successful, and it became overplayed. And I'm a believer the song is. It became overplayed, and then the critics and the fans just overlooked it after a while. It was just part of a movie, and of course, the more you hear something, you're just gonna blank it out. And that's what happened to them. Their lyrics were goofy. They didn't take themselves seriously. The band didn't take themselves very serious, and they even admitted that. But again, they had their day, and they just couldn't keep up with it. And number 1 on the list, and I don't know why these guys are on the list, and no one really knows why they're on the list. No one really knows why people hate these guys. It's the band Nickelback. They seem to be on every hated list out there. They're hugely talented. They've had 55 million records worldwide. They've been Canada's most successful band. It's hard to figure that out. I've yet to find an exact reason for it. The critics, no one sticks up for the band, and the band has kind of gotten used to the criticism and not sticking up for themselves as well. Some say that Nickelback is too much of everything, but not enough of something. So they've got it all, but I don't know. It's hard to explain. They don't really know what they're doing. Popular culture has been cruel to them, and no one's really saying why. The critics again say their songs are too perfectly formed and they lack creativity. They have the same sound throughout the band. Maybe it's Chad Kroeger's voice, maybe it's the playing style, but critics just seem to hate this band, and that's why they're number one on most critics' lists. Anyway, that's my list of 10 popular bands that people hate. Hope some may agree to this list, some may not. I agree with some of it, but others I don't, because I do happen to like some of the bands on the list. But anyway, that's my list. Have yourself a wonderful day, and take care. Bye bye now.